Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Tony here with Random Likes. Excited to say I've got me a Garmin Panoptix LiveScope here that we're going to be installing on a Hobie PA12 in today's build. I've got with me here, of course, the kit for the LiveScope. Got a 16 volt 30 amp hour battery, a bracket to put it on, the firewall for the Hobie, and then I've got also a mount here. Used one I got, and a little cover for the transducer. I already have the 73 SV hooked up, which is Panoptix ready, and so you'll need that as well, one of those that pairs with it for the fish finder. So let's go over to the Kayak and we're going to get started on the build. I kind of got everything laid out here. Lots of bolts and nuts and wires and brackets, so I got to figure out which ones I'm going to need and hook it all up. But next we're going to go over the Kayak and we're going to show you where I'm going to mount everything. So it's going to go right here. I currently have the battery in there, and I've got wiring for lights, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to rerun all that wiring because I'm going to put the battery back here. Battery will fit right in here, and so I'll run the wiring through here, through the hall, and I will mount the battery here and then hook up all the wires so I can easily access it. First things first, I gotta undo all this. Got this all strapped in here. Take out the battery. Now I got to figure out where I got to run these. So, all right, realizing what I did here, I was like, so I was over here trying to figure. I was like, man, how do I disconnect all this, rerun all this wiring? And then I remembered I was smart and I put a plug on it. So this plug went to the battery with these two little connectors on it. The previous battery that was here, I just unplugged it, cut the ends. Now plug that back in, put new battery ends on it, added some wire, and I can run it right back to the new battery location. It's one of the reasons I always put plugs on things such as lights and whatnot. It's one of the reasons I always, like I said, one of the reasons I always put plugs on everything. Now instead of me having to rerun all this wiring, all I had to do is basically add some wiring here, and I can still unplug it easy if I need to. So these plugs on Amazon, I'll try to find a link, put in the description, but they're really simple plugs. They just got a little clip on them and plug. You get, I usually buy a 10-pack. It comes with 2 ends, and they're about that long, and then you can plug them anything. So like when I was doing my trailer, I did the lights on it, so each light has its own plug, and that way, if one of the lights goes bad, all I got to do is unplug it from the wiring harness and plug it back in. The new light and wiring, it really saves a lot of time, especially if you're running long stretches of wiring, to put plugs on the end. And they're really cheap. They might be $10, $15 a piece. I'm sorry, $10 to $15 for like a 10-pack. So, you know, $1.50 a piece for the plugs. And it just saved me probably, you know, half an hour's worth of work. So is that worth $1.50? Yes. All right. So this is, I also put 2 ends. This is the power for the LiveScope. So I've also got that. So what I'll do is on the back, I'll put these on the battery like so, and when I run these through there. So that's the next step. So I was trying to install the battery, and it'll actually fit in between the scupper plugs right here. There's like little pillars in there. I'll show you here in a second, but I don't want it to slide all the way back. So how I'm going to resolve that, I made this, right? Some ingenuity there. But basically, I'm going to strap these to the pillars, and that'll keep it from going back, and I just put a little pad on it to help. So I'm going to put this in here, like so. Oh, it just went in there. Now it's not wanting to go in there. I'm going to get it strapped down, then I'll show you a picture. Okay, so hopefully you can see it down here. Not too dark. But you see the pillars there. Put tie straps around them. And that'll keep the battery from getting pushed back. I'm not worried about going forward because I have a bucket that goes in here. So, but there you go. So the little white bucket there was actually out of like an old lunchbox. Fit perfectly in there. And then just some old like exercise mat type thing. Just keep it off from bumping around when I'm driving and things like that. So I got this all set up here. There's 3 wires underneath here that connect. One for the battery, one that goes to the transducer here, and then one that goes to your Garmin fish finder. For me, I got the 73 SV. So then you just connect this wire here, and then I added my arm here. Ran the wiring through here, and then hooked up to the battery. So these two here go to negative and positive side of the battery. That's pretty much it. We're going to take it out tomorrow, hopefully, and test it on the water and catch some fish. Oh, I also had to do an update on the Garmin fish finder, but it read it once I got it on there. I'll pull it up and I'll show you here. Alright, so you can see here, I have the Panoptix. I can click on it. And obviously I'm not in the water, but that's what it looks like. Do that later. Anyway, so we're going to take it out of the water and we're going to adjust the settings and things like that. Well, it was about this point in time that I realized that my audio wasn't working once I got out on the kayak. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the settings that I used, and then I'll put a link in the description for the video I found most helpful. First off is forward range. This can be set as auto. Next is depth range. Select this on the bottom of your screen, and typically you can set it 5 foot deeper than the depth you are fishing. I found it okay on auto when I was out fishing myself, but that can be adjusted. In the gain, you'll want to adjust it each time you fish. If you adjust the setting up, you'll get a hotter picture. This means it will pick up more fish, but the picture won't be as defined. If you adjust it down, the picture will be crisper, and it's typically ran between 65 and 75%. And it will need to be adjusted based on the water you're in. If it's clear water, you want more gain, and if it's dirty water, you want a lower gain. Under the options, you can change the appearance menu. This is really just personal preferences. A lot of people like the moss greenish color. I actually prefer the amber. And then the color limit, it filters out, but you not really use that a whole lot. Trails shows which way the fish are swimming. That might be helpful when you first start using it, until you get more used to it. If you want to put the bottom fill in, it'll kind of fill in the bottom of the dirt or the soil. It's not really needed. On the layout, the grid overlay is optional, and the reverse range is really important. It shows what is behind you, but it really takes a lot of screen real estate. So I leave that to a minimum, and that seemed to work well for me while I was testing it. The noise reject, you can set that on medium. If you turn it off, it will get a long going on, and you can leave it on medium or low. The ghost reject, I just left it auto. And then TVG, which stands for time varying gain, is really important because it filters out different parts of the water column. You can leave it off though until you feel more comfortable with your kayak. So those are the settings I use. As you can see, I was sitting there reading off my little document that I made, and I did catch some fish this night, so I'm going to fast forward to the part where I'm actually catching fish. And here's the little music to get you through the last little part of the video. And thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comment.